marry an African American man with a big mouth, right? Who's running around saying things that other people are scared to say. That was the first thing. The second thing that happened, but at that point, it wasn't so bad. It was more like, ooh, he's famous, so he's probably rich. So that became kind of the office gossip, like, oh, you married this rich guy, whatever, right? But whatever. I don't care about that. But then the second part of it was there was a scenario where there's one African man on the campus, and he's a great guy. He's a good friend of my wife. They stick together, and he was falsely accused of of basically doing something that offended a white female student. He was falsely accused of saying something in class that made the white female student feel uncomfortable. And so they go to him. They say, "You're under investigation." Now, this guy, by the way, this guy has he had a stellar record. He got his doctorate over 20 something years ago. He's had an extraordinary career. He too is a full professor, which I told you that's very rare. It's very difficult to accomplish that. Um, and so no blemishes. But then suddenly a white woman comes into the office. It's a true story. And she says, well, he said something that made me uncomfortable, right? So they go to him, they say, you're under investigation. He says, well, what am I under investigation for? They say, well, we can't tell you, according to Title IX. And then he goes, okay, so who's my accuser? And they said, well, we can't tell you because of Title IX, right? And so he's like, well, so what does that mean? And they're like, well, we're going to investigate you. And they investigated him for an entire year. They called in a fancy law firm from Chicago to investigate him for an entire year. And he's going to all these hearings and meetings with some lawyer sitting there asking him all these questions. And he has no idea who his accuser is, what he's being investigated for, none of that. So this man who spent 25 years building his career, again, no blemishes, no nothing, suddenly is dealing with the stress and the scrutiny of being accused of something. Doesn't even know what he's accused of. Whole career could be up in flames just like that. So I got involved. He asked me, he reached out to me. He said, "Can you come and help me because I don't know what to do?" And I said, "Well, you gotta be careful working with somebody like me because I'm the black man that'll get you fired, right? I'm the one who's gonna walk in and tell it like it is." And that doesn't always work, right? Political correctness tends to work better than actual correctness. I tend to favor, I don't want to be politically correct. I just want to be correct, right? So I'll say, wait, so this does not make sense, right? So I'm like, just as long as you understand, I'm the guy I'm not going to tell you how to get along with racism. I tell you how to overcome it or get away from it. That's my job. My job is I'm going to tell you how to get over it, under it, around it, away from it. I'm not going to tell you how to sit there in like the frog in the frying pan and just try not to burn yourself alive. Like I'm not that guy, right? But he called me and I came in, I sat with him through a 2 hour meeting with some lawyer who was like asking him all these questions and he's furious. I didn't blame him. I sat there and after we got done, I said, I think you should file like a $100 million lawsuit against these bastards because this is unbelievable. You don't even know what you've been accused of. You don't know who your accuser is. They're putting your whole career on the line. You worked your whole life for this. I don't understand. No, again, you never know, right? For all I know, he could have been having Diddy parties in private and not telling nobody. But so I was like, well, I'm not really sure. But I said, based on what I've seen, I've never seen you do anything with students that was inappropriate. He wouldn't even let a student come into his office by herself because he had that fear of white women, which healthy, intelligent black men actually have because they know that a white woman can ruin your life on a Tuesday.